Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Super Gaming Minute, the channel dedicated to all things Nintendo and gaming. Today I thought it'd be fun to go over all of the Nintendo home consoles, starting with the NES and putting a ranking on them from worst to best. It's no secret that I'm a huge fan of Nintendo. The majority of my videos revolve around the big N and the joy they have brought me over the last 30-some years. It would be hard for me to imagine my life without Nintendo, and I wonder, would I have even been a gamer at all if my father hadn't brought home that little gray and black box and a copy of Super Mario Bros. That many years ago in the first place? Now this list is less of a ranking of better console to worst console, but which console brought me the most joy and best memories. I would also be interested in your list of favorite consoles and which ones brought you the most joy in your life. So comment your list of favorite to worst down in the comments below. But before we get into all of that, please do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This is the first video of the new year and we have big goals for the year on this channel. One of the goals is to release one or more videos a week, and the only way to stay on top of our channel and content is to subscribe. For real though, I literally can't start the video without you liking and subscribing. So please do that. Right now. Seriously, I can wait. Did you like it? Did you subscribe? You did? Do you feel better about yourself now? Great. So without further ado guys, let's go over my list of favorite Nintendo consoles from worst to best. Alright, so I wasn't even sure if I should include the Virtual Boy for two reasons. One, it was technically developed to be a handheld mobile console, even though the thing is massive and extremely hard to take anywhere and you literally have to plug it into a wall. And two, I haven't really played very much of it. But after thinking it over, I decided that it should be included on the list. Yes, I haven't spent a lot of time playing it myself, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be included on the list. After all, it is a Nintendo console, and this list is about consoles that brought me the least amount to most amount of joy. And you guessed it, this console brought me very little joy. Aside from headaches, lack of mobility of the handheld console, and the fact that it's only displayed in one color, is the fact that it's made specifically for one player. It's not a social machine like the rest of Nintendo's consoles library. It's impossible to share the screen with another player, which takes so much joy away from gaming in the first place. Now let's be real, Nintendo has always been an innovator, and always did their own thing when it comes to the video games. Most of their ideas works, some don't. The concept of the Virtual Boy on paper sounds great. It was the very first 3D console on the market, and it could have been great if it was given the time to flourish before pumping it out just to compete with other consoles on the market. It was also way ahead of its time, and technology just wasn't there yet in order to make a high-tech 3D handheld at a relatively inexpensive price. Would this concept have worked out if the technology was there and the developers of the console were given more time to work out all of its flaws? Let me know what you think. Alright, the Nintendo Wii. What a wonderful concept, making video games accessible to everyone, gamers and non-gamers alike. It's no secret that the Nintendo Wii was a huge success for Nintendo, selling over 100 million units during its lifetime. I mean, brand new games are still being developed for it today, including Dance Dance 2020 and Shakedown Hawaii, over 7 years after it was discontinued. But how do I feel about it? Well, it was a great console and it absolutely brought me a lot of joy. Games such as Super Mario Galaxy, Mario Kart Wii, Resident Evil 4, WarioWare Shake It, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and yes, I'm a huge fan of Paper Mario on the Wii. I personally loved it. I don't care if it didn't have a traditional battle system, don't at me. But its downfall has to be the amount of shovelware they pushed on this console. There were over 1,200 titles released on the Wii. How many of those would be considered shovelware? Hell, I don't know, but I'm sure it was near half of that, maybe even more. F*** you, chicken shoot. On top of the nauseating amount of shovelware on this console, it was also plagued by the clunky motion controls. Yes, it was great in theory, and a lot of the games were made better by incorporating motion controls. I mean, just look at Resident Evil 4. The Wii version is my definitive version of the game, and the motion controlled aiming is the reason for that. What I don't like is not being able to switch to traditional controls in most titles. As an example, as much as I love Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii, I honestly believe that it's a much better game on the Switch. Not because it's in full HD and widescreen, even though yeah, it's full HD and widescreen, but because you can switch to playing the game with a classic control scheme. All of that being said, I really do like the Wii, and it's still plugged in and used quite often in my household. The other consoles are just that much more important to me. Do you know just how many games on the Gamecube still look beautiful even for today's standards? The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker and Super Mario Sunshine definitely come to mind when I think of the Gamecube and how beautiful the games were on this tiny, yet powerful for the time console. Now let's talk about the controller. These controllers definitely get mixed reviews. They are perfect for a lot of titles such as Super Smash Bros. Melee, for example, but take it away from the Gamecube and they're kind of a mess. Now I personally love the controller myself. The Gamecube itself, I didn't spend a lot of time with. This is a part of my life where I was starting to get away from video games and was more interested in girls and friends and just doing terrible things. But I love the Gamecube. It's a great console. Alright, let's be honest with ourselves here. Nintendo doesn't make bad systems. Sometimes they're just a little ahead of technology, just as we mentioned earlier in this video with the Virtual Boy. I remember when the Wii U was announced, it was a super cool concept. Play your games on or off screen using the tablet controller. It also allows you to use the tablet and your TV screen in tandem. Really cool concept. I even camped out in my old truck all night in the cold in Walmart parking lot in order to secure my Wii U console. And guess what? Yeah, you bet, that was a huge waste of time because there was literally 3 people waiting to get one, and they all showed up right at opening. But why is this? Was I the only person who thought this brand new console was cool? Am I the only one who was hyped for this console? As it turns out, yeah, actually, basically since the advertising for the Wii U and the name of it frankly made it sound like this was an add-on for the Wii, as opposed to a brand new generation of consoles. Not only that, but the launch titles were okay. I mean, let's be real, Super Mario Bros. U was a basic Mario 2D platformer that we saw so often on the Nintendo DS and the Wii console already. Zombie U was fun, but not really a console seller. Lego City Undercover, I feel, was a terrific open world sandbox type game that I feel is a very underrated title and sort of flew under the radar. Probably the best launch title for the console though was the Wind Waker HD remake, which, let's be real, was a great game on the Wii U, but was a remake. There really wasn't a real reason to pick up a Wii U. The Wii U, in my opinion, is in the same boat as the Virtual Boy. Great concept, bad execution. The console was underpowered, had a serious lack of third-party support, but the first-party games that were developed for the system were absolutely fantastic, and it's no wonder they ported almost every first-party title from the Wii U to the Nintendo Switch. Games such as Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Mario Kart 8, New Super Mario Bros. U, Super Mario 3D World, and Pikmin 3. It's very unfortunate that the Wii U did so terrible during this console generation because it really was a great little system with a ton of great games. If you're one of the people that passed on the Wii U during its life cycle, I would definitely encourage you to pick one up and give it a go. The Nintendo Entertainment System was the system that made me fall in love with video games. I said it before and I'll say it again. Without getting my greasy little hands on the NES, I don't think I would have been the gamer that I am today. I owe so many of my best childhood memories to this console. I owe this console for the relationships I've built with some of the best friends that I've ever had, and I can't thank it enough for that. Playing games such as Super Mario Bros. 1 and 2, Bucky O'Hare, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2, and who could forget Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers 1 and 2. These games were gold. It's amazing just how much these developers could get out of this little gray box, so thank you, Nintendo. But with all the NES has done for me, and millions of children around the world, they've made better consoles. Better, more underrated consoles. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System helped to cement my love for the Japanese video game tycoon. With better graphics, more colors, better gameplay and sounds than the original NES, the Super NES was the first time that I witnessed a new console generation. It was exciting, especially when I saw those new games and graphics come to life for the first time. Games like Earthbound, Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, Super Metroid, Donkey Kong Country Trilogy, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Star Fox, Kirby All-Stars, and of course Super Mario RPG, to name a few. The Super NES was a very impressive console with a ton of great games and memories to boot. The leap from the NES to the SNES was nothing short of impressive. For instance, the number of colors that the NES could generate was 25, while the SNES could generate up to 32,768. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. It also allowed developers to include background and foreground animations and would allow more sprites to be shown on the screen at one time. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System was impressive to say the least. It's no wonder it is considered one of, if not the best Nintendo home console ever. Up until recently, this was my favorite Nintendo console. I mean, just look at what it's done for the gaming industry as a whole. It pioneered 3D gaming in the mainstream, it gave us all a fresh new way of playing games, and even brought 3D platforming masterpieces like Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Rayman 2, and even Donkey Kong 64 into the fold. I love this console. I've brought up the story of how I got my N64 console and even how I won one of a Canadian television station, so I won't go back into that. But if you want to hear that story, check out the video right here where I rank all Rareware games on the N64. Now, probably the most fun I've had on this console was playing WrestleMania 2000 and WWF No Mercy with my friends. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, I was a die-hard wrestling fan, and being able to play as my favorite wrestler in these games were a dream come true. I think my favorite part about it was the creative wrestler function and going through the story mode as myself. It was awesome, and I miss those days more than anything in the world. Now, I understand that the controller design was a very heated topic. Some people like it, while most people believe that the controller was the downfall of the console. I believe that the controller design was necessary. It paved the way to a more modern control style in the future and brought the analog joystick into the fold, as well as the adjustable camera. Now, no matter your feelings on the N64, it's no secret what it did to the gaming industry as a whole, and I can't thank it enough for everything that it did for me. Without going into details, I can't thank it enough for being there for me as a child, helping me escape from the troubles I had to endure in my home life at the time. Well, here we are. My pick for the Mac Daddy Nintendo console of all time. Now on this channel, I tie my favorite consoles and my favorite games in with nostalgia. I'm a nostalgic person and look back fondly on my memories growing up as a gamer and all the memories I have as a kid. But not even the power of nostalgia can sway my pick for the #1 Nintendo console of all time. I love my Nintendo Switch. I love it so much, my girlfriend looks at me weird when I bring it up. She jealous, bro. She jealous. But for real, this console is what I believe exactly what Nintendo was trying to do with the Wii U. A home console with portability in mind. What a great concept. It literally reignited my love for video games. During the last console generation, I got bored of my Xbox One, and even though the Wii U is a great console, the lack of new titles coming out of the system left me bored and wondering if I was finished with video games. That was until the Nintendo Switch was announced, and my excitement for video games began to grow. Playing titles such as The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Nintendo breathing new life into the Mario franchise with a brand new 3D platformer in the form of Super Mario Odyssey, and we can't forget titles such as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Remake, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Maker 2, Luigi's Mansion 3, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Animal Crossing, and so much more. Plus all the third-party support and indie games that are available on the platform. Nintendo has not held back on showing just how much they appreciate their fans for sticking around after the fall of the Wii U. And we're not even halfway through the Switch's life cycle. That's the most exciting part about it. There's still so much that Nintendo can do with this console, and it just excites me to no end thinking about what Nintendo can and will do going forward with the Switch. Alright, and that's it, guys. That is my ranking of all Nintendo home consoles from worst to best. I would love to know your thoughts on this list, and I would also like to know how you would rank these consoles. Do you think the Switch deserves to be at #1 on this list, or should I have put something else at #1? Comment down below and let me know. While you're down there, don't forget to like this video. It really helps me out, and please subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the videos coming out. It's the start of a brand new year, and as mentioned before, my goal is to do at least one video a week, and the only way to stay up to date with all the new content coming is to subscribe. Thanks again for all your support, guys, and keep on gaming.